Welcome to Sacred Magic. Violet is on a quest to bring sacredness back into our everyday experiences. Anyone can have an extraordinary life when they are able to tap into their sacred magic within. Violet and her guests will be sharing their divine passions, inspirations, and stories of connecting with their sacred magic. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Vialet Rayne.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sacred Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Vialet B Rayne. My guest today is Laura Ballet. As the #1 international best-selling author and 3 times Amazon best-selling book, The Science of Empowerment is elevating the lives of individuals around the world. Laura's passionate expertness is found in the environment of thought, energy, mindset, transformational development. As an empowerment coach and positive creational speaker, human awareness activation is the heart and consciousness of her craft. At the foundation of the science of empowerment stands the J3 = E formula, also known as the living energy formula. And so I can't wait to dive in and find out all about this. But first of all, I'm sure you didn't start out going down this path, because most of us do not. We're kind of guided along the way. So, Laura, what brought you to do what you do today?
Yes. Hi, Violet. Thank you. I'm excited to be here. We were just having a nice conversation, of course, before we hit the go button. I'm a bit of an anomaly here. I've always been aware of energy. Even when I was quite young, my mom and I talk about this. I had a lot of energy. She says I came into this world with a lot of energy. And for some reason, I was very perceptive that there was a field of something around how we were feeling. However, the thought energy, the science of thought energy and bridging personal transformation together, that came about in my early teenage years. And my very best friend, who unfortunately passed away, we just met each other at school and we had this incredible connection where we always talked about there's something more than what's at the surface level, and not getting into like politics or education or even faith, but just the consciousness of things. Who am I? Where did I come from? Why are we here in this moment and going through the challenges that we all go through when we're, kids? So for me, I was always curious about energy and how does it fit into the human experience. And then, of course, as I started to read and develop my own mindset, I got into quantum fields of study and ancient theology and looking into the Bible and all the things that many of us curious souls kind of look into. So I'm a firm believer that we are energy beings, that our self-concept is very important to this lifetime, and how we can really tune in to becoming our highest and best self. That's a driving force in the body of work that I continue to create.
Well, Spirit has been sending me these messages because I'm a psychic, channeler, medium. The universe is constantly talking to me. And right now, in the place that the world is today, in this moment, energy is critical. And I'm getting encouraged to teach more about energetics and get people to understand energetics, because we can get pulled into that reality out there very easily on what's going on in the world. But there's an undercurrent happening here on how we're energetically putting energy out, how we're receiving energy, how energy works within us. And the more people that understand energetics and energy, the better we're going to get to the point where we need to be, versus all the chaos, right? Because right now there's lots of chaos. I feel like the world's going through the tower moment and we're crushing everything down to move into this new phase. which is really everyone understanding that there's energy around them and how we affect it. For years we've talked about it, we've looked at the science, we've tried to figure it out. Why is this person struggling? And why is this person having really positive experience? And what is the difference? What is the difference in their reality? So I love that you're bringing science, spiritual faith, and all of that together. From ancient times, they knew this on some level, and we're getting to see more of that. So I love that you're talking about that and how energy is. So share with us your formula, because I would love to hear that. And how do we work with energy? If somebody has never paid attention to energy at all, what would you say to them to start being aware of or noticing?
Yeah, so I'll answer the second part first. They are aware, they just choose not to be aware. We all know what energy feels like when we wake up. We're either happy or we're sad, we're frustrated or we're excited. We're either looking forward to the day or we're dreading the day. That's energy. That's physical energy, mental, spiritual energy. And it certainly is thought energy, which almost no one pays attention to. And we know this, and science and people have heard this all over from school teachers, etc. We have roughly 80,000 thoughts that are on a loop that travel throughout the whole biology and physiology of the brain all day long, and we pay no attention to it. We're so on automatic. So, for anyone that feels, I don't understand science or quantum or energetics or self-actualization, any of it, it doesn't matter. You know that you're an energy being because when you move, you feel different. When you're resting, you feel different, right? When you take care of yourself, you notice, oh, I eat better, I'm exercising, I've got a little more energy. Oh, I'm being a little too relaxed, I'm sleeping a little more, I'm a little sad or depressed. That's kind of a baseline of awareness into energy. And the very cool thing about the J3 equals E formula is that I teach and coach on empowering ourself. That's the IN, internal, really learning how to reprogram and reframe the architecture inside. And for everyone, that could be a different thing. But we do this in order to empower our potential. And every human being, for me, is brilliant. Everyone, no matter what your present condition, there is something in you that is needed in this time frame. And so to sit on it, doubt, insecurity, lack of confidence, not feeling worthy, whatever the story is that you're telling yourself, I'm going to ask you to suspend the doubt and bring your gift forward because someone needs something from you. The power of the formula is it's based on 5 principles. We teach 7-year-olds this formula at our neuromuscular training facility here in Connecticut. The formula is something that my brother started to create. He's a former USA Olympic gymnastics coach. He was working mindset development decades ago. And when he retired and came here and opened up the facility, he still applied this. He still works with champions all around. But I wanted to know, how can regular people, such as myself, apply this in order to get something really lasting from it? We have a challenge, we have a pattern, a habit, a behavior, a thought process that we know is just an anchor. How can we use the formula to create personal transformation? So, when you have a challenge, and for anyone listening, just for a moment, think about something that's bothering you. I always say the monkey on your back, something that's been frustrating you, bringing you down. Maybe it's a bit heavy. Think about that and ask yourself, and I'm going to run through the 5 principles very quickly. What am I aware of in that challenge? What am I willing to do about that challenge? Accountability is mine and mine alone to that challenge. I'm now going to suspend all the emotionality and I'm going to apply critical thinking, right? This is the fourth principle. This is a powerhouse. What this does is it allows space for clear, rational thinking. This is when that higher part of ourselves starts to merge because we're no longer anchored to the emotion of it. Now we move into the fifth principle, energy. Which one am I? Negative, positive, or neutral? So when you move through awareness, willingness, accountability, critical thinking, and energy to any challenge, and we have 7-year-olds to 78 as our oldest client, it changes everything for them. It's simple, it's applicable, and the moment you start to doubt or kind of reiterate the story, you keep going through it. What am I aware of? Telling myself the same story. What am I willing to do? Change it. Who's accountable? I can't blame that other person anymore. I have to be accountable for how I'm seeing it, how I'm interacting with that other person or that challenge. Critical thinking, emotions are beautiful, they're important, but not when they keep us stuck right into these subconscious contracts. Energy, negative, positive, neutral. Why would anyone want to choose negative? Now I'm going to start to neutralize the negative thinking that's been holding me back. Now I have a more clear path to create something positive.
I
That's
love I
kind of
love
it.
that. I love the science. What about those individuals, Laura, that we all know those individuals that live in this negative mindset 24/7 and they're like, life always punishes me. Life is always terrible to me. I have all of these problems. And right, they're not taking accountability. They're saying this and this and this is doing this to me. How do you push them out of that? Because that's a big hole to come out of for a lot of people. How have you helped those people? Because I'm sure you've gotten those people that have come to you and said, life is always doing this to me. Life is terrible. I just have all this bad luck and blah, blah, blah. How do you start to unravel that energy that they have really wound up?
Yeah, this is such a great question and a very common challenge that I go through, whether I'm speaking or coaching or writing. Again, very simple. When I have a client or someone in the audience and they're sharing whatever that challenge may be at the moment, and you can see them right there in that loop again. They keep, well, that person said, this person did, my father was that, my mother still is. Okay, beautiful. So we're aware, and then we fill that in. Okay, good. Now, what are you personally willing to do? Do you want to continue that same vernacular, right? That language. You've been on it, right? You've been partnered with that story for so long. How is that working out for you? Is it making you happy? Are you growing? Are you evolving? What are you experiencing? And usually they're like, well, not too good, not too happy, things aren't going great, but it's because they bring it back. We're already aware your father was an alcoholic. It caused these particular patterns. What are you willing to do about it? Forgive him, let it go, release it, go to therapy, get a coach, read a book, listen to a podcast. We move through all the steps. Come to the third principle, accountability. There is no one that is going to be able to redirect the energy into neutral or positive but you. So at this moment, I'm going to take a break. Would you like to stay with the story, or would you like to suspend all that emotion around it? Let's start thinking as if you were self-actualized, that you understood self-concept is your creation. You get to choose. You're in the power seat now. Can't blame dad anymore. You're willing because you showed up here. You're accountable because you showed up and you're still hanging in here with me. Now, let's take the emotion. Let's just put it aside. We're not ignoring it. And obviously, this is not, if somebody was really hurt, there's trauma and all of that. We have to, this is when we're past that part of the healing process. Now let's think. I want you to go into a moment, and you are a highly intelligent human being. You've got the skills and the tools and the answers. How would you now handle going forward? They always know exactly what to do. They don't want to do it. They're uncomfortable. They've gotten so accustomed to being in that mindset. But the minute they have the space, comfortable space, compassionate holding space, they're able to be a bit more playful with, well, if I had my act together, well, of course I would reach back out, write a letter, talk to them, heal it, or maybe I wouldn't even see them anymore. It doesn't matter. Beautiful. Look what you just did. You just neutralized 10 years of negativity. You have everything it takes to neutralize negative thinking, negative stories, negative behaviors and habits, and begin to recreate, which I call empowerment design, really design an empowered life. And almost all of my clients within a very short time are quite amazed at how brilliant they truly are. They've just been through a lot more traditional therapies rather than truly empowered coaching. And that's how I personally set myself apart from that. I don't go into all of that. This is about, this is all we have is from this moment on. How can we create the rest of this lifetime to be something fabulous and actually like wondrous for you? And they get excited and they're like, well, I don't even know what that would look like, but I think I'd like to see. And there we go.
I love that. I love that. You know, most people that think we're spiritual or have faith or whatever you want to label it feel like that once you get that, there are no challenges, no opportunities. And that's not how this life works.
No.
And you know, I've been preparing to teach a Kabbalah class, and Kabbalah is
Oh, nice.
fascinating because it talks about you came here for the challenges. And when you
Yeah.
tell people that, they're like, you came here for the difficult opportunities. Why would we choose that? Because we grow when we can work with these types of tools and learn how to react differently to a challenge. It's all our reaction to it. It's when we get triggered. It's how we react. It's how we move through it. And when you have beautiful tools like what Laura's presenting, and there are many others in the world, believe you me, there are lots of them. When you have those tools to move through it, you move through those challenges fairly quickly. It gets easier. It's not as stressful. It's not overwhelming. Even those most difficult things you've ever been through that like took you down to your core, you could go through them again and it'd be like, okay, I know I'm good. I know I got this.
Yeah.
I can get through. It's much different. So you talk about also magnetizing how we magnetize energy. I want you to share with us what you mean by that and explain what that means to our listeners that not only are we energy, but we're also a magnet. And
Yeah.
we draw to us what we're putting out in the world. So share with us your perspective on that.
Yeah, and I love this, as Dr. Joe Dispenza, for those that are familiar with him, he talks about this like our thoughts are electric, but our feelings are like magnets. So we could be thinking positive ways of being, interacting, but we feel either not worthy, less than, or we're lacking in that confidence, or again, we're so comfortable in that zone of complacency that we're magnetizing the feeling. And when we start to begin to understand, if every morning you woke up and you just reminded yourself, I am an energy being. I'm energy in motion. I'm energy in thought. I'm energy for creation. And I get to call the shots. I really do. And as you said, that means learning how to be less reactive and more responsive. This empowers somebody right away. And also, truth to what you said, the more skilled you become at creating an empowered life, it does appear the more challenges come, but the recalibration of those are so fast. So think about yourself as a magnet, and everyone can get a vision. Lots of moms and families have magnets on the refrigerators, however you want to look at it. Or if there's some little nerdy, geeks out there that understand the physics of magnetism. So think of yourself as you get up and you begin to move through your day. What style of magnet am I going to be today? Am I going to magnetize happiness, calm, friendliness? Or am I going to magnetize towards me conflict, frustration, negativity? And now, again, we talk about this at the Science of Empowerment. This puts you back into that power seat of choice. If conflict is coming at me, I'm going to neutralize it because I now am skilled in the artistry of response rather than react. So someone comes to you, they're trying to stir the pot up a little bit. Okay, I'm aware that they're a pot stirrer. I am willing to not engage. I am accountable for how I respond. Thank you, Violet. It was nice talking with you. Oh, I've got an appointment to go to. Critical thinking, I suspended probably a pattern of reaction like, well, who do you think you are? Or how dare you? Or it's your fault. Energy, I've just acquired the superpower of neutrality in a matter of 30 seconds. Now I'm going to repeat that. I'm going to become a magnet for the very highest and best that I can see for myself. And once we do this, and this is a tricky little thing, right, about the magic and the alchemy of the universe or the science of the universe. When we start to think, therefore we do become, and our life does shift. And all of us that have practiced this, it's why we speak with similar vernacular, because we know it's true. So for those that have a brief window of self-doubt, maybe again, suspend that doubt and just trust in the energy and the words that you are hearing and make a decision to become a neutral to positive, magnetic, energetic being and see how your life transforms.
I just love that. I love that because I've seen it. I see it in people. I have students and clients and a community. I've watched, I've observed because I'm very aware. And sometimes people get stuck in what I call cycles that they can't get out of because it's comfortable. It's what they know. It's what they've done. And to bring change in for most humans dislike change. They like the same thing over and over again. But change brings us growth. Change brings us new things. When our life changes, we get new perspectives, new opportunities, new relationships, new everything. That's how this works. When you stay stuck and you're doing the same thing over and over again, that Groundhog Day, you're not going to attract anything new. You're just redoing everything. But when you shift, you have this grand opportunity to bring in so many wonderful things. And if I could just get more people to understand that, if the
I
world
know.
would just listen to that just a little bit and get
Mhm.
uncomfortable sometimes, it does take us getting uncomfortable every once in a while and being a little vulnerable and trusting and having faith. It's all important. It's all important.
We just, my